I gotta do my thing now.
Yes.
Did you know that a small moment in 1899 could have? Nope, fuck. It's
We're not
fine.
editing this.
We're editing it.
We're not editing.
Now we're editing it.
All right, we'll edit it.
Did you know that a small moment in 1899 changed the? Nope. Did you know that a small moment in 1899? Fuck off.
Hey man, gather yourself. Gather yourself. You good?
Did you know that a seemingly small moment in 1899 led to the fuck led to the Allies winning World War II? Fuck.
What? Really? Nah, you know what? Yeah, okay.
No, no, shut up. It's your face that's making me laugh. It's so damn big. I'm kidding. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Did you know that a small moment that happened in 1899 led to the Allies winning World War II?
What?
Welcome to Life in Moments, a podcast about the little and big moments that shape who we are. We believe that life is full of amazing experiences that deserve to be shared, whether it's a moment that made you laugh, cry, or see the world in a new way. This is a space where we will celebrate the highs, explore the low, and find meaning in the in-between. Because even when we feel like no one else gets it, there is someone who does. Together, we'll uncover stories that inspire us, connect us, make us laugh, and encourage us to think a little deeper about our own journeys. So let's dive in, one moment at a time. Yeah. I don't know I said it like that, but it is true. So I'll just give you some backstory here.
Okay, yeah.
Winston Churchill, who we all know,
Right.
Prime Minister of Britain during World War II, back in 1899, he was actually captured and it was a prisoner of war during the Boer War. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Hmm.
And he was held in South Africa while he was there, but he decided that he was going to escape. That was his whole thing. He wanted to somehow figure out how to get out of the prison, how to get back to Britain. So I would assume, that's kind of a bold and potentially reckless and dangerous moment, right? A
Yeah.
very small moment. And when you think about it, back in 1899, no one knew who he was. He was just some soldier,
Yeah.
right? But because he did that and was successful, he became kind of a national hero pretty quickly,
Hmm.
and he gained a lot of notoriety in Britain, which eventually led to him becoming prime minister, and then he was not prime minister, and then he became prime minister again during the Second World War. And
Yeah.
a lot of people credit him and the Allies as the main reason, or one of the main reasons that Germany didn't win the Second
Right.
World War. So that one small moment he made way long ago, before the First World War had even happened,
Yeah.
that allowed him, put him in the position where he was able to uh, uh, lead a big army to, help prevent Germany from winning the Second World War, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's crazy how like the smallest things can have the largest impact. Like it reminds me. So like I'm a big fan of the Beatles. You listen to the Beatles? Hey Jude.
A
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Whatever.
not gonna lie, it's kind of embarrassing that I'm not a bigger fan, but
Yeah. Regardless, like whether you
don't
listen
shoot
to it
me.
or not, it's safe to say one of the best, if not one of the best, if not the best bands of all time. And you know how the Beatles formed? It was actually like we're talking about small moments and how they can lead to big things.
I have no idea how they formed.
Okay, well, it's not like the main reason they formed, but a big reason is that Paul McCartney decided to attend a church fair, and John Lennon, it's a very big difference.
Yeah, look, yeah, that's kind of a massive difference there, guy.
John Lennon was playing at the church fair with his band, and that actually kind of led or was a catalyst to the formation of the Beatles
Mm,
forming. Yeah,
that's that's
such a small
it's
thing of like deciding whether I want to go or not, and then you
yeah.
get
Just
the
imagine he woke up and he's like, "Ah, I'm not feeling like it today. I'm not gonna go." And maybe the Beatles would have formed a different way, but
yeah.
there's a good chance that they wouldn't have formed at all. This is also kind of a random thing, but do you know the original drummer of the Beatles got kicked out of the band right before they started recording the first album?
What? Really?
Yeah, Ringo Starr then replaced him, and
Do you know why the original drummer got kicked out?
the three other guys wanted him gone, so
Oh,
he got
dang.
gone. Now, and that kind of is like another. I would say that's a little bit of a bigger moment, making a change to your band and who's in the band.
Yeah.
But imagine they didn't make that change and Ringo Starr didn't become
Who he
the
was
fourth
today.
member and the
Yeah.
drummer. He wouldn't be where he is today.
Right.
The Beatles maybe wouldn't have had the success that they had.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing where just a specific choice here or a specific choice there can have a lot of effects that we just aren't really aware of in the moment later down the line.
Right. And if it's not already clear, that is the theme for this episode. Of how, and we're going to get into a little bit of how the smallest moments can have the biggest difference, or decisions that you make or choose not to make can change your life, because at the time they might seem insignificant, but down the line you look at all these little decisions and you realize that the difference in your life that they would have made had you made them or had you not made those decisions, it's huge.
And I also, it's not, I think the reason we want to talk about small decisions is because I always hear about people who've made it big who have that, big aha moment,
Yeah.
right? Like the big, you figure out the massive issue you were working on, or you do this thing or that thing. Like that big, that's the it moment, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us, just the everyday person, that we don't really get those big aha moments all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the smaller thing that happens that then leads to a funny thing happening down the line, right? Like
Right.
maybe you decide to go out with a buddy one night, and that leads to a hilarious story that you talk about for 25 years later.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't if you didn't go out, or if you weren't convinced, or if you did something else. It's just how decisions have impact.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't pay attention to that because it's a small mundane impact,
Right.
but other times it can actually lead to something a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like there's one story from my own life
Mm.
that I think of all the time. It's because it's a massive scar on my arm. Way back when, I think it was 2010 or 2011, day before school comes back, I was going to grade five. I was sitting downstairs reading a book. I know, right? Reading. That's the second time in a
Yeah.
row I've mentioned that. Don't worry, it was like a Big Nate or Diver and Wimpy Kid book.
Yeah. I love those books.
Those books were fantastic. And I was sitting there, and my brother came up to me, and he was 3 years older. He's 3 years older than me.
Mm.
We would always bicker and argue and get into fights. So he said something, I can't even remember what he said.
Yeah.
Like the smallest throwaway comment meant absolutely nothing, super small, whatever. But I decided that I was going to get up and chase him, which I had done a million times before. So
Yeah.
that was like that was not a big decision. That wasn't a big moment.
Right.
That was just a random thing that I didn't even think of. Well, that ended up with me being in the hospital for 8 hours and getting like 75 stitches in my arm, and I have a massive scar that's still there to this day. All because I decided, well, you could say, oh, I decided to read on the couch. Like
Yeah.
if I read in my room, maybe that wouldn't have happened. So it's interesting. I think about that story all the time, or that moment all the time.
Yeah.
And if one or something else went a little bit different, how everything would have changed.
Can we see the scar? Where's the scar?
That's like so much effort to take.
Dude, you're hyping up the scar. The video viewers want to see it. I want to see it. Have I seen
No,
the
no,
scar?
no. I'm gonna hold on to that.
Okay.
We got to get to like episode 25, and I'll show you my
Yeah,
scar.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you got to keep coming back. I don't know if you probably have. I've worn t-shirts around you. It's
Okay.
on my bicep.
Yeah, I do look at your biceps a lot. I feel like I wouldn't notice that.
All right,
I
let's calm down there, my guy. Jeez.
uh,
So, like, you got any moments like that? Like any something small that led to a bigger impact later down the line?
yeah. Actually, one that comes to mind is about my car. So
The piece of trash you drive around right now?
you can stop hating because I used to drive a piece of trash.
I'm,
Actually, no,
I'm
I
just
didn't.
joking. I'm
Um,
joking. I'm
So I used to
joking.
drive a Honda Civic, and like I love that Honda Civic, and it was truly like it was my first car. Fuel efficient. I can't speak. I can't speak.
Fuel efficient.
Listen, don't ever let anybody disrespect fuel efficient cars, because they are gems. Like I could drive that car into the ground. It had like 170,000 kilometers when I got it.
Yeah.
For American viewers, I don't know what that is in miles. So
Oh, yeah.
if we ever have American viewers, and then I ended up working. a little bit more, selling that car and saving up, and now I drive a Hyundai Genesis Coupe, which is a two-door car. It's made fun of in the car community, but I love that car. I also drive an automatic, so you can also come for me there because I don't drive a manual.
Don't worry, I come from all the time.
But it was, yeah, he does. But it was important, especially like given my like family history. Like no one in my family ever drove something like luxurious like that. Not that it is a luxurious car, but like it's like a sportier type of vehicle. And like I look back to like my parents' first cars, my brother's first car. Like for the most part, they're like beaters. It's like get you from point A to point B. But like I never wanted that. But it wasn't until I got in a ride. So I worked at for like the city in like a city job in the recreation department. And one of my coworkers, it was actually my first day, he offered me a ride in his car to the station because at the time I didn't have a car. And he drove a Mustang. And it was crazy because this person was a year older than me. And he had a similar upbringing, like strict parents and stuff like that. And he told me about how like he had to like sort of push to get that happening. And as he's driving me to the train station, because I had to take a train and then bus home, I'm sitting and I'm in awe of this guy's car because I'm like, there's no way he's driving something like this. Like I would think like he would also be driving like a Honda Civic, like some fuel efficient car that's like sensible or quote unquote sensible.
Yeah.
And it was that ride that inspired me to like have that goal of driving something that wasn't just like a quote unquote practical car or practical vehicle
Like
that my parents
something
wanted.
you were proud of, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember like hey, also the Honda Civic was brown. It was like it was like
Ugh.
a Mundy brown.
This guy was driving a poo cart around.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a car that I was proud of driving. But I drive this car
Yeah.
and I drive this vehicle and I love it. Like I've never felt more confident, and I feel like, and I credit that a lot to my coworker because had I not stepped in that car with him, I don't think I would ever like got that story and heard his
Yeah.
perspective on the saving up and like sort of pushing back to like strict parents and
Yeah.
saving up for the things you love. So for me, that was big. For like someone looking outside in, like it might not seem like a big deal, but for me, like I'm looking
It's
at
like,
like my brother's car. Even to this day, he drives like a Kia Forte, which is a nice car, but it's like an older car.
yeah.
He always like makes fun of me for how much like gas money I'd be putting in, but it's worth it because
Yeah.
I'm proud of that car. And Caleb can hate all he wants. So
Okay, I don't actually hate you. Have your own car. That's cool.
yeah,
Um,
that's right. Thanks, man. I appreciate
I
it.
be, you're welcome. Before we move on, I don't know what's going on with my camera, but we're just gonna rock with the kind of blurry screen going on here.
Yeah, you'll notice in a lot of episodes. So Caleb's camera is very, it's
What are you
it's very
talking
interesting.
about?
Okay, if
Get out of
okay,
here.
my camera might not be the
You bum
best.
ass camera.
Caleb's using his
Anywho,
phone to record. He's using his iPhone
and
16. No, I just want to put that out there. That he's using his iPhone 16 to record. Any,
it's just a random thing to be talking
I don't
about.
know.
So back on topic here. If you just want to get back to it,
Yeah.
I think there's an interesting point that I think connects all of these stories, right? Winston Churchill, the Beatles, both the stories we shared, like, the science behind underestimating such small decisions. And I don't know why it seems like people always do it. It's like, oh, I'm going to eat that candy bar, which is a super small decision. But maybe if you make that decision every single day, multiple times a day,
Right.
that could lead to a much bigger issue and a much bigger impact down the line. But like we can get into the butterfly effect, and I'm going to pull up exactly what the butterfly effect is, so
Okay.
we don't misquote. But the butterfly fly effect is rooted in chaos theory, which describes how a tiny change in the initial stages of a system can cause huge nonlinear consequences elsewhere over time.
Doug, what does that mean, bro?
So when you start doing something, if you make just the smallest of changes when you initially start doing something,
Yeah.
you can have crazy consequences, huge consequences, positive or negative, way down the line. And it doesn't have to be, it's in a non-linear fashion. So those
Okay.
consequences can happen anywhere, doing anything.
Okay.
And I think like, that's kind of exactly what we're talking about. Like when you start, I think another story is going to the gym.
Yeah.
When I first started going to the gym, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my form was horrible. I probably looked like a fool. You know,
Probably.
a
Yeah.
little,
I can see
you
that.
know, a short little prepubescent 15-year-old boy had no idea what's going on, right? But I started watching a couple videos. I would talk to a couple people at the gym who'd give me pointers, and were, in my opinion, small changes, right?
Yeah.
Like I just started changing my form a little bit. I maybe went a little bit more consistent and made sure I didn't hurt myself.
Right.
And that, I mean, you talk about that would have huge impacts over time,
Right.
right?
I
Oh,
also feel like it's cool because, like you mentioned, like you said, you got pointers from other people in the gym, and like
hmm
those from like an outside perspective are so like small and so easy to do, and they don't seem that significant. But like
yeah.
if you're a scrawny kid or like you're just
Mm.
starting out in the gym, and like a bigger dude or a bigger person
Yeah,
is talking to you and giving you advice, that gives you so much confidence and
it
can
does. It is crazy. It's such an interesting thing. Like those initial things. And talk about giving like advice to someone.
right.
You could be a person who's really into whatever you are, either working out or cars, or you just have a really good skill in something, and you don't realize that something you might just like a throwaway piece of advice you might give to someone could change everything for them.
Yeah.
Which is again kind of like the butterfly effect. You give them a piece of advice, they make that tiny change, implement that small little thing,
Yeah.
then that could lead to another. This is totally do I have this? I got a book. Is it? We talk about books way too much
Dude,
here, man.
pull up
I
the
don't
book, man. Be
read
proud
that
of it.
much. All right, go
He
pull up the book.
doesn't. He doesn't read that much.
I'm sure people know this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a fantastic book. The whole purpose of this book, as it says, is tiny changes, remarkable results, right there on the top.
Wow.
He's literally, the whole purpose of this book is talking about how you make small changes here or there can lead to long-lasting, remarkable effects that you would have never predicted that come in the future,
Yeah.
right? Like getting out of bed when you say you're going to get out of bed, or doing a small workout. Like, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. And I hate, oh my God, I hate when people are like, you need to completely change your life right now. You need to start doing X, Y, and Z, da 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 da
Yep.
da 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 da. And I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. You
Yeah.
just start doing one thing, like start having a little bit more water,
Right.
or start reading a little bit more,
Yeah.
or start doing whatever hobby you want to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I apply it to this podcast. Like, sure, I would love to have 10 million people listen to this,
Yeah.
but just every single week, just do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit
Right.
more. And over time, I don't even think we could predict what will happen over time.
Yeah.
An interesting
Um,
thought there.
yeah, like I'm actually like trying to convince, and I feel like I have, like for the first time in a year, um, my dad's losing weight. And that's a huge thing. So my dad,
Damn.
he's a little bigger. He's tall too. So it's like his weight's pretty high. And like, I've always like been on his butt about like, yo, come on, man, let's go to the gym. Let's do this. Like, come on, you've been in the gym for a while. Like the weight's not going down. Like we need to make changes. And at times it was like, it was like I realized that he was kind of lying about what he was eating outside. And like
Mm.
there'd be times
That
where,
is always the thing for I myself included.
yeah,
I think you're just not always truthful about that part.
right. Like I'd be like, yo, what'd you have today? And he's like, no, I just had my lunch. And I'm like, you didn't have anything else? He's like, no. I'm like, really? And then he's like, and then I find out that I found a receipt in his car once, and then I found like bags of chips in his car, and I'm like, bro, where is this coming from?
Excuse me.
Right.
What is this?
But it was like he told me 2 days ago that like he's not we're the same weight now, me and him, and that's never happened before. And he told me 2 days ago that a reason for like him finally like feeling like confident and like able to do this was that I sort of like kept checking in. And like
Mm,
a check-in can be
accountability.
so important to like so many people, and it can impact so many people in different ways, because it's just like just me touching base kind of shows that I
Yeah.
care. But to me it's just like, hey, how's it going? Like what have you been up to? What are you eating? And it's just like a
Yeah.
simple like it's like a how are you doing type of thing. Um and and he kind of told that, and I never really like considered how impactful it was to him, because there would be like moments and bursts where I'd be more up on his butt about like, yo, the weight's not going down, the weight's not going down. And there's some days where I'd just be like, hey, like you trying, like you okay, like
Yeah.
slowly, like we got to actually get it done.
And I think that kind of comes back to the whole idea that people think big life changes happen like that. Like
Right.
it's a big dramatic thing,
Yeah.
which I mean, sometimes they are, obviously. And
Yeah.
I think movies and shows make it feel like that is the only way a big life change happens. Like it
Yeah.
is boom. But usually it's just some small little things that you start doing or small little things that you don't do, which I think is the same thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're choosing to do this, this, and this, well, then you're also choosing not to do this, this, and this.
Right.
And that could have its own impact in a different way as well.
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
just think, like, I'm just curious, like, what are some small impacts that people have way back when, some small decisions they made, small moments that have led to uh, where they are now or where they are in their job or what like that. Like this is such an interesting thing for to think about, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Drop it in the comments. Yo, drop it in the comments.
right now
Yeah.
I'm reading them.
Yeah. We are. Shout out Caleb's mom.
I don't watch this, man. I don't know why we keep saying that. But it also comes to like I think a really important thing with the small moments that maybe we don't realize is that sometimes we don't realize that it's happening. So we're making decisions without really realizing we're making the decisions.
Yeah.
Like choosing to do a specific thing is
Yeah.
going to lead to a specific outcome,
Yeah.
but it's just unconscious. It falls underneath the radar.
Right.
No, it's an
Yeah.
interesting thought to
I
have
actually have a
there.
story kind of on that. Um, so like we're in, or I'm in. I guess he's a graduand. I'm not yet graduated. But I feel like
I
in
really
like
hope you're using that word properly.
graduand, dude, you told me about it. So if I'm using it wrong, it's your fault.
Let's see.
Um,
Let's see. I'm searching up. Let me make sure.
okay.
Ah, a student who's about to graduate and receive a degree.
Yeah.
So I'm about to receive my degree, so I'm a
But like
graduate.
I'm eventually gonna receive it. So technically, why am I not a graduand? Because nowhere does it say you need to have all your courses finished.
Well, it says you're about to graduate, but you're not about to
Okay,
graduate.
well, I'm about to graduate in like a year, so or in like a couple months, or
But that's not about though. Like if we're being honest
but then we
here.
have to define about. My about is a year. I'm a graduate by my
Okay,
terms.
we're getting way off
All
topic.
right,
What's the
all
conversation
right.
moment you want to share here?
Enrolling in classes and when you enroll in certain classes and which classes you take in which semesters um, is really like a bigger decision because it can lead to so many different things. I feel like the biggest takeaway I got from post secondary is the people that I met and the connections that I made.
Hmm.
And that can be completely different should you take this course in a summer semester instead of a spring semester, or you take a different course in this semester. Like me and you met in a marketing class, and had I not taken that marketing class, we would have never met. This,
Yeah.
we would have never enrolled in classes. We would have never talked. This podcast would have never been a thing. Um, it might have. It might have. Maybe it would have been two separate podcasts we were doing. But like it can,
Maybe.
yeah.
That's a
Um,
good point.
right? It's such a like it's just a tick on a box. Like I'm gonna take this course this semester, but now I've made a valuable connection. I've made people who like care for me, people who are gonna have my back in certain moments, people who I can rely on when like shit hits the fan. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just thought it just kind of reminded me of that. That's just like an off the cuff type of example.
No, it's just I think it's just like you look at it and everything is connected.
Yeah,
And that's why I can't wait to start talking to people and hearing their life story, hearing
yeah,
how they met whoever they could be in a relationship
right,
with, or just a regret that they have
yeah,
that and what led to that moment of of the regret.
right,
Uh, that's one of the reasons I want to explore this idea.
yeah. I got a question for you. Do you
Hit
believe
me.
do you believe in fate?
Yes.
You believe in fate?
I think, oh man, you're
Like
putting me on the
everything
spot here.
happens the way it's
For a
supposed to.
reason.
Yeah, or for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes. I think that's exactly what it is.
Mm.
And it sounds, this is a really interesting question. Way back in high school, I did a project on do we have free will?
Yeah.
which
Or
is
is it like
kind of, I
predestined
think,
or whatever?
yeah, it's kind of like under the same realm.
Yeah.
And while we are obviously free to make our choices, I think everyone's predisposed to making choices in a specific way. Like, yeah, I could move across the world and do a different thing than I'm doing right now. I
Yeah.
could do that.
Right.
But am I going to do that? Like, my mom and dad could have, once they got pregnant, moved somewhere and given birth to me in a different country.
Right.
And so all these things, they could happen, but are they going to happen? So I think there is this, obviously there's free will. People are going to decide what they're going to want to do.
Yeah.
But, oh, now I'm really out of
Dog.
focus. My
Yeah, give it a
God.
second. Turn your camera off and turn it back on.
I don't think that works like that.
Dude, it works.
All
Just
right,
watch.
where's
Just
the
watch.
camera thing? I can't
Oh, it's
see,
too
man.
small. Okay. Just give it a sec.
Hold on, hold on,
Just
hold
give
on,
it a
hold
sec.
on. Here we go. Here. I'm going away and I'll come back.
All right.
It's not turning off.
Okay.
Damn it. Okay, we're coming back. Ready?
All right.
Bam. Here, hold on. What if I click it like that? Nope. This is really bad. Dude, you can't even see me. Change, man. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing that
Hey,
we're
hey,
having
hey,
these.
listen. He made fun of my camera. It's crazy. Look at this.
Oh,
Crystal
we're
clear.
back.
Ah, shit. Okay, now you got a better camera than me.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Nah,
Get out of here.
well, come on, man. Let me have my moment. What do you
So
say?
anywho,
Yeah.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, the fate thing, right?
Yeah.
So like people have choice. They can do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They can decide what they're going to decide. But I think we are all predisposed in how we grow up and in our environments. There's certain things that I think are bound to happen. And
Bound to happen.
I think that comes in with fate. Like
Okay.
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, certain people meet people at a specific time.
Okay.
I also think, people might say, "Oh, this was fate," always in a positive way and never in a negative way.
Mm.
It's like you hear if someone meets someone, falls in love, they get married,
Right.
live for a long time. Oh, that was fate that we met.
Yeah.
But I also think that it can be fate in a negative way. It just depends on how you take it. Because you could go through a bad relationship or experience a really horrible moment. But if you take it and like, okay, I was supposed to go through that to learn this lesson.
Right.
Or I was supposed to experience that because I was being a complete jackass
Yeah.
beforehand and I wasn't being a nice person or whatever.
Right.
And that kind of corrects you to get back onto what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I think it's just how you take everything,
It's true.
right? Like
That's a
if you just think, oh my God, everything's happened to me, this is horrible, blah, and
yeah.
there's no, okay, that's in your world, that's what it is.
Right.
But if you take everything with a little lesson and you try to learn from it, and maybe it'll be a little bit different moving forward. I don't know.
That's a good mindset.
You put me on the spot with that one.
Dude, I just wanted to get your opinion.
That's what we're
I,
trying to do here.
yeah.
Put people on the spot.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't. I think last episode we were talking about how like sometimes I like to just go outside and sit and
Yeah.
try to embrace. And I think part of that is trying to recognize the smaller moments when they're happening.
Right.
Something that can make you laugh hysterically. Sometimes it's really cool when you're in that moment, just laughing away with your friends to think, oh, like 10 years down the line, I'm still going to talk about this.
Yeah.
And the fact that I still bring up your presentation that was done, what, 3 years ago at this point?
Is it 3 years? Damn,
I
bro.
think
I
I
peaked
think it
so
was,
long ago, man.
yeah, I know it's all downhill from here for you.
Damn.
But I
Is it really
think that
3 years? Is it actually 20 what?
maybe
22?
yeah, I think yeah, it was 3 years. It was over 3 years
Damn.
ago. Maybe it was I don't know. I think it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Um, but if you hadn't given a really good thing in that moment, I
Yeah.
would have remembered that. Maybe we wouldn't have been as close of friends as we are.
Right. So our friendship's based on the fact that I had a good presentation.
Yeah, bro, I
Yeah.
was I was evaluating you. That's like, is this guy even worth my time? Jury's still out on that, by the way.
Whatever.
I'm just kidding. I'm just making a joke.
Dude. We touched on like friends a lot, and like I like that. I like talking about the idea of fate because I feel like a lot of people have different perspectives. Like there's multiple branches, but like they'll all lead you to the same results or whatever. a big like turning point for me in like coming to university was about like finding friends. Because in high school I want to say it's easier because you're set up to make friends. Like you're put in the same classroom with the same
Yeah,
people.
it's much easier.
You're bound to like make those connections. Like a lot of your work and assignments might be like group work, and in some courses that's not the case in universities, or I want to say most courses that's not the case. That like for the most part it's just all individual, and it's up to you to like go out of
Yeah.
your way and make those connections. And I remember I struggled with that for a little while, especially like coming into COVID. Like our first year, actually my first
Your
year,
first
sorry,
year.
sorry, my first year was in COVID, and it was such a like, for me, I would consider myself an introvert, so I didn't. It
Which is
didn't have
so
to.
interesting. Like, sorry to cut you off, but that's such an interesting point you make. You think you're an introvert because, from what I've known of you, big outgoing dude.
Nah. Okay. I actually have a okay. This is a tangent, and I'm gonna go on it because I want to go on it. I describe an
Ride
introvert.
it,
I
baby.
think I saw this in like a presentation before. I describe an introvert and extrovert in this way. I think of like an introvert has like five, let's say like balls of energy, and every like sort of big interaction that they have throughout the day that goes down. So it's like I talk to you, we do a podcast, that's four. Like I
Yeah,
have an
yeah,
interaction
yeah.
with a friend, I go out, that's three, then two, then one. And then an extrovert starts with zero, and then every time they talk to someone, they get like more energetic and they feel like more happy and more content, and like the more interaction they have, the better they feel at the end of the day. Whereas the introvert's like tired, based on how much and if they've talked to a bunch of people the most. That's how I describe an introvert. So like
Mm-hmm.
in COVID, I didn't struggle with like not seeing too many people. Like I'd still connect with friends virtually and things like that, and play games and whatnot. But coming into university, and we're like thrown back into this place, like like thousands of people on campus, and I'm like, who do I talk to? How do I make a connection? And in fact, in my first ever lecture, I wanted to make a connection to the person sitting next to me and do something that I'm not like known to do, and like make a connection. Prof walks in. It was a computer science class, so I don't want to say they're all introverts, but there's a good chunk of them.
Yeah, a lot of yeah.
I turned to the person next to me and I was like, "Hey, what's your name? How do you feel about this course?" His response, and I quote, "The professor's gonna walk in any minute. I'd rather not have any distractions." Like, I'm trying to make,
Oh, he brings you just. Oh my God,
dude,
that's
I'm trying to make a
hilarious.
connection. It was my first ever interaction with someone on campus. Like, do you know how demoralizing that is? Like that, like that discourages me
There
from
you go.
ever shut up. That discourages me from ever like trying to make a connection like that. And in fact,
And-
yeah,
sorry,
no, come,
go
please,
for
please,
it.
please.
No, no. Oh,
Mine is it's gonna be a long story. What is it?
I just think I was gonna say that that's such an interesting thing because if you didn't ask that, and that person didn't give you that response, and you didn't have that reaction, I mean, who knows? Maybe we wouldn't be friends.
Yeah,
Maybe that caused something to change in you.
yeah. Because I never reached out and was like, "Hey, yo, Caleb, what's going on? What's your name?" Or like, I never did anything like that. I
You know
like
how
you
we
come to
became
me.
friends? No, no, no. We became good friends because of Jason.
Yeah, he was the
We,
glue.
we sat in that, it wasn't the marketing class, it was the other one. You remember the one? Was it another marketing class?
No,
Yeah,
the
the one we did the IKEA presentation in.
that was after.
Yeah, but that's the one we actually became friends in.
Yeah.
We
Oh
knew each other from
yeah.
the
Yeah. Because I
previous
was sitting
one.
next to someone else. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember. Oh no no
Oh, yeah, you want to talk about
no no no. Let's not talk
that?
about that. Let's not talk about
Okay,
that.
sorry,
That's
sorry,
not
sorry.
important.
We gotta bring it back. We could
Okay okay.
relate that to what we're talking about, but we won't. We'll
Um.
bring it back.
Oh shoot. What was I saying? Gosh. Okay.
I,
I struggling
sorry.
with making friends. And it was tough because for a while I actually associated myself with people who weren't like the best influences on my life, and they were like heavy like drinkers and things like that, which is
Mm,
like, if that's your cup of tea, like by all means. But I'm a firm believer in having a balance of like, listen, you can party hard as long as you like work
moderation,
hard,
baby.
right? As long as you work hard. And like these guys were like clubbing and like and like I lived on campus for a brief amount of time.
You
um
did? Oh, you did.
yeah, for a brief amount of time, and like I would go out and have these sort of interactions, and it made me realize like, yo, these aren't the people who I want to hang out with, like people who are
Mm-hmm.
partying like so frequently. And I'm like, yo, I'm looking at my quiz scores, and I'm like, yo, everything's going down. Like, is this what I want to do? Like, is this like who I want to surround myself with like full time?
Mm-hmm.
And like I have no enemies by any means. Like I still reach out and I still check in with them, but like I don't hang out with them as much as I used to because I realized like, hey, that's not like
Uh,
those aren't the people I want.
Why, when someone makes that decision, I don't want to party anymore. I want to take care of myself.
Right.
Why do the people who still want to, it feels like always like look on that person like they get angry. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I can't believe you're leaving. I can't believe you're not coming out with us anymore. Oh, what are you better than me?
Yeah. Right. I was
I,
just gonna say that.
what do you mean? I'm just making a decision for myself. Hey,
Right.
you do what you want to do, man.
Yeah.
That is on you.
Right.
You're a fully grown individual.
Yeah. Like I don't even drink. Right. And like I'm looking at all these people around me, and they're like totally out of it, and I'm like over here like. Let me know when y'all want to go home, cause that like
I'm gonna drive.
like that's all. And I remember there were moments where I even felt like, yo, I might just like out here to drive them at
Yeah,
home,
I
like
mean,
like
there's
we
a good chance that
load
we
up the
kind of
Evo
were.
and then we go and but
Yeah. It's just I don't know. I'm sure there's people who can relate to it. I'm so fascinated by these random things that happen that then have such a big impact, right? Like I've been trying to think of other stories to bring into this.
please.
And when was it? Maybe it was 2018, summer 2018. So right before I went to my senior year.
Okay.
My family went to Europe. We were
Yeah.
traveling around. We're, having a nice time. We were in London and Paris, and then we were in Amsterdam, and then we went to Norway, which is where my dad's side of the family is
Yeah.
from. And I have always been interested in traveling,
Mm.
and I've always felt like, oh yeah, I'm proud to be part Norwegian. Like that's cool. Like, I don't. I think that's not the most popular place to be from, right? So it's like it's cool to have like something like that, right?
Right.
But when I got to Norway, I just the weirdest thing, this besides where I live, the most connected place I've ever been to.
Mm.
And I had been there once when I was 3, so I
What do you
didn't
mean? Wait, what
remember.
do you mean by like connected?
I felt like that's where I was supposed to be.
Oh, like you
Super,
connected with it.
yeah, super.
Oh,
It's very hard to explain,
okay.
but in that moment, and it wasn't like one moment. We were there for 2 weeks, so it was many small moments
Yeah.
over the course of the 2 weeks. In the summer, the sun doesn't fully set, so it's always light out.
Right.
That was really cool to me.
Yeah.
Being on a farm that was named after that my last name comes from. That was really cool to me. It's like these small little things just built up this feeling of connection. And I've always thought about moving back there. I feel like if I didn't go there in the first place,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. And I wasn't going around the entire time being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move here. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
planning on moving here. Like I
Right.
wasn't thinking it was this massive. And I'm like, oh no, this is a really cool, fun trip that I'll remember. But I wasn't thinking beyond that. And so it's an interesting little.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
You
lost my
trying
train
to
of
you trying to leave
thought.
me? What's going on?
Hey,
Well,
you're the one trying to go to Toronto. What are you talking about?
dude, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. You
He's
trying
moving
go-
to Toronto.
Norway is so dude. I'm still in Canada.
He's
You trying
moving
to
to
go Norway?
Toronto. Yeah.
No, that is cool. Like I completely forgot that the Norway is the a location where the sun won't set.
In the
But
summertime,
like
it does
completely,
not.
yeah. That's so crazy.
It's a very weird thing to be standing outside at midnight and it still be kind of a very little light out.
Did that mess with your sleep schedule? I would
They
think
had
it has
they
to,
had
right?
they had blackout blinds.
Oh, okay.
I was already hallucinating from being jet lagged. I wasn't thinking properly anyways.
Mm, fair enough.
Anywho, gotta get back on track here. I'm trying. I don't want to go off tangent so much.
I feel like it's
on.
important to go off tangent sometimes.
Yeah. But
We
I don't
can
want
bring
to.
it back eventually. Dude, I'm out of
There's
stories, man. Like, what do you want me to do?
I'm also out of stories. All right, see you later. Thanks for coming. Bye. That was a joke.
No, but we did mention before that if y'all's have anything or any small moments,
Please,
that,
this is the only, I think the biggest reason we both wanted to start this. It's just like I don't want to just be a random guy who talks into a mic, be that stereotype,
right?
right? Am I lagging?
Yeah, I don't want to like pause you and be like, yo, stop talking, close your camera, open it back up. Okay, you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
I think we're good. I think
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
good. I don't want to be that stereotype who's just spewing garbage into a microphone for
Right.
45 minutes.
Right.
I actually want to provide some value, but most importantly, I want to like I really am interested in just talking to people.
Yeah.
That is wherever I go, I want to talk. I want to get to know people. I want like so it feels super kind of cringy to say leave a comment, but actually please do because
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Like even just 1%. I'm interested in knowing.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll read the comments out.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
See, I don't think it'll take that long. So for sure.
It'd be like a 1 minute
Yeah,
segment.
this is a comment Caleb made on his alt account.
Yo, that Caleb guy's really good at his job. He's a great
Yo, it's too
podcaster.
bad that he has Nav dragging him down though.
Yeah, you should leave that guy. Bum.
Yeah, they caught him from Jason being like, "Yo, what the hell did I stumble upon?" We gotta bring him on. We do have to bring him on. I don't know
It's
about
fine.
next time, but the time after. But soon
We
we're
gotta
gonna
get
have
someone.
guests. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna bring someone on.
All right. Well, I feel like we don't got much else to talk about.
Yeah,
But we really want to know what's the tiniest decision that you made that led to a bigger impact down the line. It doesn't have to be life-changing, life-altering thing, but what is that a bigger something that you did that led to a bigger impact down the line? So
yeah,
we want to really know about that. Um, I think just life isn't about just the big milestones. It's about the moments that we don't even realize are important
yeah.
until later,
Right.
which is, I think that I truly think that's kind of the name of the game. Like it's the small stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying worry about every small thing that you do in your life. That's not the point.
Yeah,
It's just sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not doing the big thing. I'm not making the millions of dollars. But
yeah.
you're taking a proper step. You're going in a proper direction.
Right.
And that's just those moments add up.
Yeah. What was that name of the book, dude? Shout out your book. What's that book again?
I think everyone who's listening to this is an extremely successful book, Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Hmm.
It's sold over 1 million copies.
Wow.
It's a #1 New York Times bestseller.
Yo, James, we're
I'm
shouting
not,
out your book. You got to come on the podcast now.
yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. This dude was a big reason why I got even more interested in starting a podcast.
Hmm.
Anywho, we're not just trying to be some.
Yapping. We're not trying to yap. Well, I mean,
I could,
we're
yeah.
trying to yap, but meaningfully. We want to yap meaningfully.
All right, we gotta end this. I want to go watch the Lakers game.
Yeah, dude. Lakers Celtics 5:30. We're Lakers fans, so even if you don't want to comment anything about the
Hey,
podcast, he's a Raptors fan, but he also roots for the Lakers.
I'm a Braun fan too.
I'm a Braun
so
fan, yeah. So if you want to roast us in the comments, please, any sort of engagement, we'd love. All right, I'm Naveed. That's Caleb.
That's Caleb. Copied you.
Good one.
I got you.
Okay, bye. No, Caleb's gonna
Bye.
be weird now.
See you
Okay, bye.
later.
Thanks.